Yo, what is up, y'all? Dubs of Mine here, and we are doing the Warriors game preview for the Grizzlies game that is happening on the 27th. I'm recording this the day before, on the 26th. After all the games concluded on the 26th for the NBA, and so yeah. But to start off with the news, is that Luka got injured, but he's out with probably going to be rounded out with a week with 2 injuries, which is going to be very interesting because who knows if that's going to stay as just a week. I'm just talk about this news since it is a pretty big news. Nothing really has happened in terms of NBA, like for the games, like that's super big with like injuries and stuff like that besides this, so that's why I kind of just picked this up. And the reason why I just bring it up is because, well, that means the Lakers are without Luka and LeBron. And I mean, for this day, it wasn't too bad for them because they won against the Kings, because Ross Reeves won for 51, which is crazy. But then you also have to think about this. People are going to be like, oh my god, Ross Reeves is going to be keeping us afloat. Like, he's so good, he's able to drop 51. Sure, that's nice and all, but when you really think about it, you only won against 7 points against the Kings. Okay, the Kings, where a lot of people have them as one of the worst teams in the West, even potentially below the Jazz, but especially with what you've seen through their game against the Clippers. So the fact they only won by single digits despite one of your third best players dropping 51 is definitely not a great sign, obviously, and you're showing that you're going to lose a lot of that offense that you need from having Luka and LeBron. So and obviously this isn't going to be sustainable. You even got 20 and 10 from DeAndre Ayton, 22 and 15. Again, not sustainable. It's not really realistic for him to be able to do that. And also the fact is, you did all that. I mean, obviously Reeves scored 15 in the fourth quarter, which puts it at him having 35 through 3 quarters. The Kings actually had a 4-point lead in the fourth, okay? So they were already losing. So again, as much as it's nice for them to win this game, you have to also consider that this is against the Kings and you only won by 7. And then you had some of the players that you don't expect to score a ton to do really well. Again, that led to your win, but that doesn't give you like the full win, right? So, or like a good convincing win. So we'll see how far down the standings they kind of slide down, because I do not expect them to win against much games against actual good opponents, because again, this is the Kings. But that's like the one major injury that recently happened. At least from what I remember, I don't think there's too many other injuries. I mean, there's like Kevin Porter Jr. getting injured for like around 2 weeks and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about, Luka, right? This is like obviously a big player. So yeah. And then on the Warriors end of things, this is going to go into our preview. But Al Horford. So because it's a back-to-back, I did post that question about if we're playing against 2 opponents in a back-to-back, is there a chance that he just only plays it in the front end of the back-to-back? Because from all the different, or does he like miss the front end of the back-to-back and plays in the second end of a back-to-back? And I posed this question before because Steve Kerr said that he's only going to play in the back end of the back-to-back, but then it's like, what if the opponent that you want him in is better for the back end of the back-to-back, right? So this is already kind of proof that so Al Horford will be playing in the back-to-backs, and the games that he'll be playing in is just going to be whichever game that we're going to need him more for. So in this case, we're playing against Memphis Grizzlies, and then the Clippers back-to-back, and he's going to sit out the Grizzlies game, and then he's going to be there for the Clippers game because obviously they have Zubac. Meanwhile, Memphis only has Jaren Jackson Jr. as a big, and he's not even like that much of an enforcer big, and Draymond does a good job with him a lot of the time. And Zach Edey's out for them, so it makes sense why Steve Kerr is making this decision. First of all, screw the NBA for making us have 2 back-to-backs in a row to start off the season. That's so stupid. Like, who's doing the scheduling? Like, genuinely. So I again, like I told you guys in my preview for the Blazers video, I was not surprised that they were going to lose. I expected them to lose at that point. Obviously we had a better team, but they were just out of it. Back to back, the first game being in overtime, and they had to travel. So this one's a little bit better because it's a home one. But again, it's still kind of stupid of why the league just schedule it this way. So matchup predictor has us at 67.8% to their 32.2%, which is kind of insane. I think the Grizzlies are better than that. I think I respect them a lot more than this percentage indicates for. But I am taking into assumption obviously that the Grizzlies have a lot of their players out too. But again, they're 2-1 right now. That 2-1 record is from having all these players out for such a long time, because these players didn't get injured during the season. This was all before the season started. So, and the fact that they're still 2-1 is it goes to show that they're a good team. So that matchup predictor is a little interesting to say the least. So we look through it. Vince Williams Jr. out, Ty Jerome out, Scottie Pippen Jr. out, Brandon Clark's out, and Zach Edey's out. So a lot of their bench is just out. The earliest return date is going to be for Zach Edey and Vince Williams Jr. I don't know how accurate those return dates are, but Vince Williams Jr. has no timetable for return, so that's kind of a lie that his expected return date is November 7th. Zach Edey returned to play in 6 to 9 weeks for a month ago, so probably in about 2 weeks or something, he's probably going to be like a 2 to 5 weeks he's going to be playing. So that's that. Then you got Ty Jerome, our good friend Ty Jerome, man. So 4 weeks, so still a long time to go for him to play for them. And then Brandon Clark, 6 weeks. So he should be reevaluated soon, in maybe a week or so for them. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. undergo 12 weeks. Damn, yeah, that's a long time. So let's see. So we have Al Horford out, obviously. D'Anthony Melton out, obviously. Alex Tukey's out too. I don't know. Is he just out because... Oh, so he still has that injury. Interesting. Okay. He probably wasn't going to get too much minutes anyways, but yeah. And we can now finally look at team stats because they played some games now. So, Warriors, higher points, higher field goal percentage. They have the rebounding advantage. We have the assist advantage. They have the block advantage. We have the steal advantage by a lot. So... They're obviously going to still be that enforcer team, still have that grit to get the ball on the rebounds and defend well. But again, it's a loss a little bit because of the fact that Zach Edey is going to be out. So we also have the Basketball Reference website pulled up for them. So the reason why I also have it pulled out because I do want to check some players. So let's see. So we got Ja Morant. This guy's probably going to be their backup one. They got probably they're gonna start with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Back could be John Conchar, maybe Jalen Wells too. But also this Cedric Howard guy, man. I see that he scored a lot the recent games. It shows that he's a rookie. He got drafted during this year's draft. Then did they get him through a trade or something? So it was a trade for Jan Hansen. Okay. This guy's been balling out for them, though, so I guess this guy is definitely a guy we got to keep an eye out for. He scored 14, 16, and 27, so that's pretty solid for them, just as I'm assuming as a bench guy, This guy's been scoring like crazy, so he might end up being the first guy off the bench for the shooting guard position, honestly, after KCP starts. And then you got probably... Maybe they play up Jalen Wells and then then Gigi Jackson's, or no, actually, Asante Aldama's their 4, or they slide Gigi Jackson down to the 3. And then you got Jaren Jackson and Jock Landale's the center position. So they're going to definitely play a much smaller team than what the Warriors are usually used to when playing against the Grizzlies. So that's going to work in our favor, obviously, because I definitely think that the games that we play against them, majority of them, the times that we end up losing is because we lose the rebounding battle against them. I still think the matchup predictor is not obviously accurate, the most accurate, because I respect their team a lot, but still I think we should be winning this game just because they obviously lost Desmond Bane and didn't really replace him with much. Obviously KCP's a replacement, but has he played well? And even if he has, it's does that mean much though, honestly? He scored 10 points per game. He got 15 in the first game against the Pels, 7 in Miami, and 10 against Indiana. And the shooting splits are not good at all, so it's a very inefficient 10 points per game. So yeah, definitely not. Did not replace him with anyone that's that good. Obviously KCP can be good, but so far he hasn't proven to be that good. So honestly, just, for us, the game plan is contain Ja, contain Jaren Jackson Jr., and let everyone else on their team shoot or, get their buckets. And we're fine with doing that. Obviously, Jaw's back. He's looking pretty solid. Jaren, how has Jaren been playing? I haven't really seen it. Obviously, he's a defender, so he can't really just like go off a box score too much. But you know, I don't have time to just like watch everything, so let me just look at it. I mean, scored consistent. I mean, his 3 has been very inconsistent, but he has scored inside the paint a lot. And I mean, he got what, 8, 3, 2 rebounds. Okay, so he hasn't been even rebounding the ball that much though. So I think if anything, we should be hitting the boards a lot better. I think QP is going to get a lot of burn. The Trailblazers just had a lot of size, and that's why we lost, you know, and QP couldn't really affect the game too much. But QP played really against the Grizzlies last year, and again with Zach Edey being out, and mainly just matching up with like someone like Jaren Jackson or like a John Conchar, his lack of like speed and slight lack of strength should not be much of an issue against the Grizzlies, because again, they're not much of a strength team when they lose someone like Zach Edey, obviously, and having someone like Jaren Jackson be their main center, because again, he's not the greatest rebounding center ever. Like, I kind of knew that, but again, just to make sure I checked these stats. But I mean, he's also been fouling a lot and turnovers. Actually, I mean, the last game he didn't turn the ball over that much, but with just 1, but 3 and 5 turnovers the first 2 games, and then 6 fouls fouled out, 4 fouls, 3 fouls. Obviously, getting Jared Jackson into foul trouble is going to be important too, because again, that's what he kind of tends to do when playing against a lot of teams, including us. So I think as long as we keep our turnovers low, we win the rebounding battle, and we have either Jimmy, or I'll say, yeah, probably again Jimmy or JK, even post as our secondary / third scorer, we should win this game pretty handily. Yeah, I think the X factor of this game is going to be post QP, because he hasn't been playing too well recently, but also he hasn't been getting much minutes. And then also, like, the matchups haven't been the most best for him, because against the Lakers game, he just didn't get much minutes to begin with, especially because there was Al Horford already playing. And the second game against the Nuggets, you're playing against Jokic, so he's going to get kind of burned a little bit. And the third game, it was just a lot of size and stuff for Portland. So again, I think for this Grizzlies game, as much as he hasn't been playing good, he should still play pretty solid in my opinion. And yeah, that 3-point, again, his 3-point scoring is going to help lift Jaren Jackson Jr. away from the paint and allow us to score a lot more inside as well. And again, like I said with the Blazers game, we got to win the bench battle. They do not have a good bench. That's what surprised me the most, honestly, about the game, is like the loss, whatever, but we didn't win the bench battle that much. I guess, with Moody being back for his first game ever, didn't do super well. Pods really struggled. Again, like QP didn't do a whole lot. TGD did not play at all. So, especially with this team, they do not have much of a bench. Besides, like, the Cedric Howard guy and Santi Aldama. That's literally it, honestly. Everyone else is not that notable. Maybe John Conchar too, I guess. But yeah. So, winning the bench battle is going to be important for us. So, I'll say, I gave a lot of keys. So I'll say win the bench battle, get more rebounds, and have a secondary scorer besides Steph, obviously. I think those 3 things are going to be the most important thing. I said third too, but I don't think it's super necessary to have a very distinct third scorer. Just have that secondary scorer though. Yeah, it's going to be super important. So yeah, game is going to be at 7, I think, Pacific. So at Chase Center. So yeah, be on the lookout for this game, and I will see you guys in another video.